G'day, Jimbo. Alright. I think we're good to go. Good to go. How's the viewing angle there, Big Deno? Oh yeah, zoom out, dickhead. No, that is zoomed out. Shit, a brick. Forgot how big this is. Alright. So the model arrived. G'day, awesome guy. The model arrived safely in your hot little hands, Jim. I see, that's good news. You know you can take it out of that plastic container. Doesn't have to stay in there. Hey, Unima! G'day, mate. Welcome. Welcome to the average attempts at streaming of Big Deno. We do our best. Yeah, no, I'm doing some pretty crazy stuff at the moment. Oh, Topulus. What's happening? Didn't see that was you, mate. Colouring in. Just like all of my heroes. Oh, well. Hope you dream of interesting things, mate. My girlfriend woke up this morning and she said, oh, I had an awful dream last night. She had a dream about a friggin' serial killer that was stalking her at her work and stuff. She's got a fucking overactive imagination, that woman. Oh, g'day Celery. G'day Rumble. It is looking a bit portally, isn't it? We're getting there, getting some action on the portal. We are making things up as we go though, so you know the drill. We do our best. Well, that is your picture on the left side of the screen, isn't it, mate? Oh, dinner was lovely. Went to a lovely Turkish restaurant. Had a delightful spread. And yeah, and although there was one down into the evening, and that was the dessert rolled around. I was pretty excited for dessert. It was a panna cotta. Quite partial to a panna cotta myself. Girlfriend's not a big fan, so here's Big Deno thinking he's going to get 2 panna cottas, get amongst it. Well, they brought out 1 panna cotta. I don't know if they thought it was more romantic to just have one dessert between the couples, but I'll tell you what, we weren't the only ones blowing up about it. Couple beside us, whew, spitting chips. Yeah, my girlfriend is also unimpressed with panna cotta as a general rule. Oh wow. And here's us in Australia just struggling at the 30 degrees. That's 30 degrees Celsius, of course. That was Fahrenheit. That'd be, well, actually, I don't know what that would be. Cold, I assume. Who knows? Hey, Fat Road Osh, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Well, welcome to the stream for the brief moments you're here. Celery, I've seen snow, went to Berlin and drove there from Salzburg. There was snow. It was very exciting. So tonight is the 1 month anniversary of Big Deno starting streaming. So we're going to actually go through a little highlights package, which won't actually be a package, it'll just be me grabbing models from the shelf up there and talking about the models I've painted. And in some cases I won't be able to show you the models because they're not here anymore. That's okay. Talk about plans for the upcoming projects. And I did have a package arrive today. Hey, wrong way, go back. I'm pretty biased, mate, because I live in Australia. So I'm probably not the right person to be saying how good the weather is in South Africa. I suppose we do have bushfires, don't we? Which is a bit unfortunate. Understatement of the world there. No bushfire season this year, really, which is excellent. Ah, that's a good wrong way. Well, you found a good time. Tonight we're going to be kicking on with this thing. Seeing if we can figure out where we're going to go with this. The rest of this anyway. And then we might start Mad Axe a little bit later on tonight, depending on how we go. problem with fluorescent colours is they're very translucent, which is why you have to go over a white for them to look correct. But it can also mean you have to do several coats to get a smooth colour. In some cases you can't get a smooth colour and you just have to suck it up. I think we'll be okay in this instance. Tropical cyclone. Well, no, the fluorescent colours I'm not very good at art stuff in general, but I believe the fluorescent colours are a man-made pigment that is significantly more intense than traditional pigments. Someone who may know more than me potentially can answer that. G'day, King Kevlar. But that's, I believe, what the issue with them is. Found my favourite colour, by the way. Woo! 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 It's a common mistake that many painters make, is not to have enough contrast. Sticking in those mid-tones. The key to taking the next step is definitely cranking up the contrast. King Kevlar, no mate. This is not a 3D print. This is actually a Games Workshop scenery piece called a Realm Gate that I have taken a little bit apart and I'm using for a base for a 75mm model. Ooh. I took Hugo to the beach this morning. This guy's gonna stand here. Little Hugo, he's having a run around on the beach like a lunatic, covered in sand. Had the best day. Alright, let's get a little bit of this as well. Thanks, King Kevlar. You're awesome, mate. Excuse the hairdryer, friends. Yeah, he doesn't really shed, little dude. I had him all day yesterday. I was going to bring him on stream, but yeah, ended up taking him home before I got on. Hey, match fixer! Little mate, yeah, I'll get some photos up later on. He's a fucking funny dude. He's not here at the moment. He lives at my girlfriend's house, but he is one funny little dude. I think I've got an easy photo of him to hand actually. He's his little mate. That's him, little dude. He's a Chihuahua cross, couple of different terriers. He's like a full mixed breed scrapper. He's a funny little dude. Yeah, he's funny. He's a funny guy. Keep using the wrong brush. Get one of those cats that has no fur, mate. They're good. He's so funny on the beach today. He just zooms around. We have an off leash dog beach we go to, and he zooms off, finds the biggest dog he can. Today he found a Rottweiler. Just was like, let's fucking go, mate. Idiot. So funny. So, you know what I might actually do here is put this little idiot on this base. One thing I want to try and do with this this base is make sure that I'm drawing focus towards him, and one of the ways I can do that is by having a higher value around this area that just draws a little bit more gaze to this dude. And it's also good to work on everything at the same time. Whenever I'm doing a piece like this where I've got an elaborate base, I always like to have the model that I'm painting separate, but very easy to pull off whatever I'm holding it with, so that I can do exactly what I'm doing here and just test colours and test fitments and all sorts of stuff. King Kevlar, there's a lot of paint ranges out in the market, and all of them you'll get different recommendations from different people. My advice to you is the colours I use are generally Vallejo, and they're sort of relatively accessible, reasonably priced, and they sit pretty much in the middle of most of the paint ranges in terms of their qualities. So I usually recommend Vallejo. You'll hear lots of people recommend you Scale 75, you'll hear lots of people recommend you a variety of different ranges. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter what you pick, as long as you practice painting with them, because it takes time to understand how the various paints interact with each other. Faro Roach, that's an interesting question. It's probably not an easy answer. You should paint it in muted tones if you want the focus to be on the lighting. If you want the focus to be on the model, you may consider having some more saturated colours. But yeah, the challenge you're going to have with it, with a piece where it's predominantly lighting, is having people be interested in looking at the things that you want them to look at. You're welcome, King Kevlar. What are you doing in here? Boo. So I would suggest you go and look. Dave Colwell did a model from Nico Galaxy where he did magenta light from one side and blue light from another, and he did the whole model in the lighting. I did a version of a Nico Galaxy model where I had similar colours, but I didn't have the lighting be as big a focus. And there's a variety of other painters who've done versions of that sort of style as well. So, which owner are you painting, Celery? Yeah, you are kind of watching paint dry. Wrong way. Sorry, mate. It doesn't get much better either. I mean, I tell some pretty bad jokes and some funny stories on occasion. But yeah, mostly it's just me having a gibber and painting models like this. On this guy, King Kevlar, the greys, are you referring to? Yeah, that's just a pretty straightforward airbrush, what we call a zenithal prime. So the reason it's called a zenithal prime is because the light is coming from the zenith of the model, zenith meaning top. And it's just a white undercoat done over a black undercoat done from the top down. So it's pretty straightforward. Pretty easy to do when you have an airbrush, pretty easy to do when you don't, if you're using aerosol cans. Tricky otherwise. I'm clicking now, Celery, clicking now. Ah, Only of Skulls, little dude from Big Child. He's an awesome model. I've seen so many cool versions of that. So many cool versions. I have not painted it. I would like to, at some point, when I run out of other models to paint. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, looks small. So I've talked about this many times on my stream before. My technique is to over contrast like crazy, and then we will glaze back down into some more appropriate colours. So this base at the moment is going pretty high value, but we won't be staying at that range the whole time. Great question, Celery. Great question. I don't really know. Probably going to start him pretty soon. So yeah, I mean he's a big hairy broody dude, right? So probably just go normal barbarian skin tone. It's going to have to be cold because the colour palette, as you can see, is quite cold, but what we might try and do is have a little bit more warmth in this space. So this will all be cold around the outside. Even this pink is quite a cold pink. And then we'll have more warmer colours value here, but we're going to have lighting coming from behind as well, if we can. I don't know if we will be able to. We'll give it a crack though. We'll give it a crack. Yeah, bluish, purples, that sort of stuff. It doesn't. You don't have to feel like you stick with a specific thing. I mean, there's cold greens, there's cold reds. So it's just you think about. Yep, there'll be pink and purple rim light. You just need to think about the colours that you choose in terms of is it warm or is it cold when considering which colours you're mixing. Alright, let's think about this. Some of this yellow, some of this pink makes for a nice grey colour. It's got a little bit more life to it. King Kevlar. G'day, Big Dano. Yeah, doing a bit of colouring, colour fire, mate. Just a little bit of colouring in, pal. That's how we do. I have a stream schedule that I stick to pretty well, King Kevlar. But there's usually a few other ones tossed in there. So it's my time. I'm in Australia, so this is evening for me. So I stream Mondays and Wednesdays in the evening, and then usually I'll also stream on a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday, one of those, sometimes two of them. And then I'll also do a morning stream on the weekend to hang out with my American friends. And yeah, whenever I feel like it, because it's just painting. Which I do all the time. Good morning, Dad Daney. Morning, Sharkwald. Or evening, depending on where you are. Or mid-afternoon. Or whatever measurement of time. Ah, beautiful time to be watching a painting stream. Oh, good man, wrong way, go back. Thanks for jumping on, mate, even if it was only for a short time. Have a great whatever it is for you. Alright, we're going to pull out some show and tell. It's going to be boring show and tell though for everyone that's been on the stream for a while. Not quite, there's one good thing. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Let's just Get a little bit of this magic pink up in here. Alright, I think we'll call that base for now. We'll come back to it. I don't even know if mine has a cold setting. It's just hot. Ole, 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 ole. My hairdryer is hot. Hot, hot, hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot. Let me check actually. No, it has 3 speeds. 0, 1, 2. Hot, hot, hot. Hello, Paul. So I'm not going to go too much crazier with this. And the reason is we are going to have some grassy bits that fill a lot of this area. So before we go crazy on painting the rest of this stuff, we're just going to put this aside, get started on Doofus, and then we'll just reassess once we've got Doofus on there. Makes it a bit easier. Alright, first exciting show and tell. I got a package today, friends. Who's excited for the package? Hairdryer is probably the most invaluable tool in my collection, even above the airbrush. It makes everything I do much quicker. The package I got today was not Echoes of Camelot, but it was Regis, the halfling, for my Drizzt diorama. And this is opening on stream. How exciting. Yes, so if you haven't participated in my streams before, you wouldn't know, but this is a diorama I've been planning for a few weeks, involving heroes from the R.A. Salvatore's Forgotten Realms book series, starring Drizzt and a few other friends. So here is the Regis character. So he's going to have his back up against this tree. That tree would work in a Icewind Dale setting as well, which is good. So if I decide to go the Icewind Dale side of things, we'll have a reasonably appropriate tree. And then little Regis, little rumble belly, little man. Oh, we've got 2 hood choices. We can give him this hood, or we can give him this hood. I feel like this is the better one. I like the hair, the way it's been sculpted. It's a pretty choice. So the question we've got to ask is, do we get rid of this loot? Try and have him be doing something. I kind of like the loot though. It's a pretty cool little thing. Thanks, Faro Roche. When I explain my theory, I don't feel like it's very out of character for Regis to be like a semi-musician type dude, because he was always in the books. I remember he was like whittling and shit, carving stuff out of wood. So it sort of doesn't feel like too much of a stretch to be playing a little lute or lyre, whatever the fuck that is, whatever the shit that is. What's this? Oh, an owl. Woo, woo. I don't think we'll be having the owl added to our team. That's a little... What's that supposed to be on? Is that on something? Don't love that. Where does the owl go? It's on the branch. Anyway, the owl goes in the bits box. This little head goes in the bits box, and Regis the halfling is playing his lute, lyre. Indeed, owls are strange. If you don't know who I'm talking about in the book series, it's by R.A. Salvatore. It's a Forgotten Realms, like a Dungeons and Dragons book series that was actually quite good. Became a New York Times bestseller or some shit. Some of them did anyway. But yeah, there's a dark elf, ranger, a good guy, and there's a halfling, thief, dwarven warrior, human barbarian, human I don't know what Caddy Bree does, but she's not really much chop. And the dude, the Dark Hill's got a panther. It's fucking awesome. Alright, here we go. So let's go through in chronological order the models I've painted on stream. So this is the 1 month anniversary. Happy anniversary, everyone. Woo! I hope you've sent all my gifts in the mail. So I started my streaming doing the finishing touches on this guy. I didn't paint him on stream for the most part, but I did do a lot of the last tweaks. I think I painted these tattoos on stream on my first stream. And yeah, so he's pretty fun. I'm counting him. He was an enjoyable model to paint, and I like him a lot. Well, that's unfortunate. The next model I painted on stream, I'm actually going to have to bring up a picture of, because I have already sold it to someone who is participating in this stream tonight, which is fantastic. Thank you, Jimbo. Where is my profile here? So this is the second model I painted on stream. It's a vampire from Carl Rudick. G'day, Kung Fu. Thanks, Dazza. So this is the second model that I painted on stream. Vampire from... Oh, I know. Beck told me. Thank you, Loophole. Yes, this is a lovely peach number. It was a birthday present from my mum. Cake machine, what's happening? So this was number 2. We painted this guy number 2. Number 3, we got into a old witch lady, and she's here. Got her up here. She was done on stream completely, start to finish. I got a new plinth for her, by the way, because she wasn't good plinth. Felt like I started to find my groove a little bit on stream when I painted her, but there's a few elements that I would retrospectively probably do slightly differently, but good learning experience. She's done. So we're at 2.5 models. Then we moved into this one. Doesn't need more frog, you're a peanut. This one was done entirely on stream, and I started to feel a lot more comfortable. G'day, Jibby High. Hey, mate. So this is a Big Child Creatives Northern Wind. I particularly like this. I feel like this is super cool. And the skulls, actually, I was really chuffed with the skulls. So she was fun. Very good. And then the next model we painted on stream was the Wind Rider. I've shown this about 8 million times, but I'll show it again. There he is, Wind Rider. So he was done on stream fully, start to finish. And yeah, pretty happy with how he came out as well. So that is at 5-ish models. I don't have the Blood Bowl team that I painted, they are also gone. Painted 18 models for the Blood Bowl team. So that is a total of 18 plus 4.5, 22.5 models painted on stream. Suck it, Flick. That guy's painted 1 model this month. I've watched him paint the same fucking model this entire month. Thanks, GB High. The guy's having himself on, seriously. Anyway, there we go. 1 month's worth of going. Let's get started on month 2. We're going to crack on with one of my favourite colours. It's a basic skin tone. It's called Chalice Red. Do love it. Yeah, he's going at a rate of knots, old Flickster, isn't he? Cracking jokes, that guy. So this is a purpley, dark purpley red. I'm going to smidge of blue into it as well. Just so we're making the colour a bit colder. And then we're going to try and find where his skin is. This guy reminds me of a full Chaos Warrior, by the way. Like glory days of Games Workshop Chaos Warrior. You can see how very careful and thorough I'm being. Actually, let's get rid of this fucking thing. We don't need that anymore. Bloop. Bloop. So is anyone pulling out tomorrow night, Freezy? Koki, you a chance of pulling out, mate? Looking forward to playing a 4-player game, actually, so if you could see if Annie can get a shift or something, that'd be good. Yanamar, I'd love a cup of coffee, mate. Except I don't drink coffee. And you're also not here. So scratch that idea. That was a bad idea. Haha, Koki! Oh yeah, Bargain Quest. I bought a new game too, Daz. I bought Lost Realms of Arnak. What was that other one we got as well? Can't remember. We got so many good games to play now. I make no promises, Yanamar. Alright. Indeed, we played Root on many an occasion. Koki has the board game, I have the board game plus all of the expansions. And pretty much everything ever made for the game. Very good indeed. Arnak! Lost Ruins of Arnak. Yeah, come on Koki, come along mate. Oh, you can't. Alright, we'll play Arnak. Okay, so we're going to go into a skin tone now. We're going to use Reddish Flesh from Nocturna. We're going to mix a bit of purple into it. So I'm going to try and not use as much airbrush as I would normally for my paint job, because the intended recipient of this model is Flick, and he wants to attempt to copy what I've done. So we won't do quite as much airbrushing as we might have. Thanks Annie for letting us play games that we want to play. Oh, g'day. Adri, you are my favourite niece in the world, you're right. Except for my actual blood relation niece. You're my favourite daughter in the world though. Little joke for your dad there. But you are a very, very close tie. So when you paint skin tones, human skin tones, a common mistake you see people make is good for her. Common mistake you see people make is they don't recognise, let's zoom in a bit, friends. This is a mixture of reddish flesh from Nocturna and this purpley colour I'm working on. So one of the biggest issues you see with people doing skin tones is they treat each volume of the skin as a separate volume, and that's fine. You need to have a contrast between top to bottom, but these are all one piece, so they need to be distinctly painted as one piece as well, which can be a little bit tricky to do if you are not sure how to combine things and bring them together. Fortunately, I do not have that problem. We've got some Rojo Bejo! Beige red. Rojo Bejo. So you'll probably notice at this juncture that my brush is a piece of shit. That's okay. At this particular point in time, I'm not concerned about that, because what that's doing is it's creating natural variation within the skin, little striations and natural tweaks. Which is good. Should be interesting actually how this progresses, because I haven't really ever done a rim light before like what I'm going to be going for. It's going to be a new and exciting challenge. So we're going to add a little bit of yellow now to this skin tone, so we can add some warmth. I think at this point we'll switch brush. Oh, actually, I bought a new couple of brushes the other day. This is a Broken Toad one. This is one of their shit versions. It's called a Fugazi series. So it's a shit synthetic sable. So we might give this a try. I've never tried it before. an evening of firsts, friends. Feels okay. I like the snap of the bristles. Very firm. Like a nice roast mutton. Oh mate, it's early. It's early to say we're not cranking out peanut butter, pal. Very early to say that. When you want to add some warmth, want to add some vibrancy, mate, peanut butter is where it's at. So it's early days to make that call. We may not, but you never know. You're lucky in the big city. I sure have Unimar. I have the whole range of their Mark IIIs sitting over here. I like them. I have about 4 or 5 brushes that sort of sit just here, right beside, and those are like the main brushes I use, the workhorse brushes, and there's two broken toed in there. At this point in time, nothing compares to the Winsor & Newtons for me, but, and I haven't said this very often, their quality has decreased recently. I've had a number of misses from them, whereas in the past I would buy 7, 8, 9 brushes from them a year, and every single one of them was an absolute banger. The difference now being that they don't seem to have the same consistency. Where's Chum Dabs? Chum Dabs! Get me banned, mate. Yeah, it's so funny. Like, if you had asked me 2 years ago what brushes do I recommend, I would have unreservedly said Winsor & Newton. And but yeah, I've bought 5 I think in the last 6 months, and I've had 3 of them be rubbish. So that's not a great strike rate for what used to market itself as the premium brush. This brush is okay for the moment. It's easy to be a good brush on the first use though, isn't it? You can already feel the tips starting to lose its shape. That's actually not what. G'day, Jet Shroom. That is actually yellow and purple, and this greeny colour. Flick, if you're watching, mate, either now or at a later stage, I have confidence in your airbrushing, mate, to replicate what I'm about to do. I have confidence in sunshine. I have confidence in rain. Oh, g'day, Jan. Oh, got it. Well, I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Good timing, Jan. Well, one of your best, mate. Hello, Drax. How are you, friend? Hello, friend Raiders. Hello, Wamposaurus. Yes, it is a Black Sun miniature. This is Maddox from Black Sun, and we're just about to do some airbrushing. Beautiful. Here's the, yes indeed, Wamposaurus. Here's the base he's going to stand in front of. Boo. I am indeed from Australia. 10k. How did you get that many? I thought I'll put 2k and surely no one's got 2k. Fuck, I've had to do it 3 times. My girlfriend was like, you should do like left-handed painting or something, or paint with your mouth. And I said, I have enough fucking trouble as it is, mate. Seriously. Cut a guy some slack. Oh, awesome. It's a great place, the Gold Coast. I'm about 45 minutes from there. Drive there for work on occasion. Beautiful place. Alright, so what we're doing now, friends, is some airbrushing. So this is going to be a unifying glaze. So what we're going to do is we're going to angle it from the top. So the brush is going to come down like this. So we're not going to catch as much of the underside as the top side, but it will still get some. And what we've got a mid-tone, slightly higher value mid-tone, and it's quite dilute, as you can see. So we're just going to do some airbrushing like this. So what this is doing is it's actually unifying all of my rough highlights very, very quickly and easily, and meaning I don't have to do a lot of time on smooth blends. The airbrush fixes it for me. So we're going to do some more different colours and tones now, and this is one of my favourite things to do. Just have a little play. Oh look, since someone asked for it, let's get a bit of peanut butter in there. Why not? We're all friends. Peanut butter. If I can find the fuck. Where are you, peanut butter? I've had a real issue with finding my favourite colours recently. Oh, Flickstar! G'day, mate! I actually just left you a message for you in the future when you start watching this. G'day, Antaro Gameplay. I was just saying, I have confidence in your ability to do this airbrushing that I'm doing right now. Tell him I said that, everyone. That's literally what I said. Isn't it? Here's this, by the way, Flick. It's looking fine, mate. So this is what you've got to do. You can do that. This is This is a Sony AX33 Handycam. Peanut butter, so good. I've never called you that, Flick, so that should give you an indication how I feel about you. Maybe one day. You can do this, Flick. I have confidence in you, buddy. I was telling everyone just before. I even sang a song from Julie Andrews in The Sound of Music. It's called I Have Confidence. I sang that about you. No practice minis, mate. Get in there. Just get in there, son. Have a crack. What's the worst thing that happens? You fuck up, you learn. You fuck up, you learn. Yeah, oh, did Phoenix... Oh, wow, look at this. Very good. Well, friends, this is actually my 1 month anniversary of streaming. I started streaming 1 month ago to the day. And in that time, I've painted 22.5 models. Thank you, Wemposaurus. 6 of them were display models. 5 of them display models. Very good, Jan. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Jan. I'll remember this moment, Jan. Alright, cool. Thanks, buddy. Let's give this guy a little bit of varnish and we'll get on to some more brushwork. We're going to start some non-metallic metal and some rim lights. It's going to be great. I have no idea how we're going to go. Thanks, Flick. Yeah, no, 1 month anniversary. I'll show the models. I don't need to know the lyrics, man. I'm just going to make it up. Thanks, Jim. Have a great night, buddy. No, I choose to just sing gibberish. I choose gibberish. Mate, for 2,000 points, I'm going to make it 20,000 points in a minute. Otherwise, I'm going to sing that song about 8 times a night by the looks of things. Smokey knows what's up. Trusted the cake machine. Weber saw us dropping the truth bombs right there, friends. Alright, cheeky bit of airbrushing done. So all the underlying tones that I put in are still there. They're still evident, but they're not quite as overt as they were before I did the airbrushing. So all we're going to do now is go back in and re-add some clear delineations of the shadows, which will just help everything look a little bit more correct. And hopefully we're going to do it in not a shit way. The airbrush is a fantastic tool that takes a lot of practice to be able to achieve results with, but when you have that practice, it's super fun. Well, Flick, you're in a bit of trouble then, mate. If you want to be trying to replicate my style. That's a good skill to have, Kev. Maddox, M for Mary, Maddox. This is a 75mm scale. Which I think is about 1 to 32 or something. 28 maybe. Don't know. So often this skin tone looks pretty naff until you do what I'm doing here, which is adding in all those shadows from where the airbrush has actually filled in and made them light. Without these shadows, it looks like you don't have any contrast. But as soon as you add them in, everything starts looking like it's working again, which is excellent. Yes, well, I've got Bress here actually. I'll pull him out now because it's one of the models I painted partially on stream anyway. Good. Some of your best work there, Deno. Here's the bust version of Bress. Yeah, yeah. Look at my angry face. Look at my shield. He's great. Great to practice skin tones on. Very good. It depends, Kung Fu, on what I'm trying to achieve. Breasts. What I'm trying to achieve with the glaze. So sometimes you're doing a glaze to harmonise all of the tones, in which case I'll use a mid-tone, sometimes a slightly higher value mid-tone. If I'm trying to add some depth of colour and some shading, then I'll use a darker, sometimes more saturated colour. And if I'm trying to add some light, then obviously I'll go like a white, which I'll probably then glaze back down anyway. Alright, this is the exciting part now, friends, because what we've got to try and figure out how to do is this lighting from behind business. Thanks, buddy. I also quite enjoyed that hair that I did. Well, you'll have a great time, I'm sure, Yanamar. I certainly enjoy this painting of busts and 75mm figures more than I ever did any Games Workshop figures. What are you doing, Flick? What are you laughing at? Never trust you. Yeah. That is true. Alright, so I'm gonna do the helmet in steel colours, and I'm gonna do these metal plate things in steel colours. I'm gonna do this chest gut plate thing in gold. the weapons will obviously be in steel. So the reason I want to do gold is I like colours, they remind me of Zinch, of the Portal. Zinch tends to have a lot of gold, so that should be fun. Oh, awesome. Aussie Open's mad, mate. I normally have I had cricket on, normally have the footy on in the background. But yeah, I haven't got the Oz Open on at the moment. Do enjoy it though. The rules are don't get fucked up. That's pretty much the rules of Australian rules football. Blah, 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 blah. We have a big Australian rules football fan on the TV tonight, listening to Big Deno, assuming he's still here. My good friend Luke. Hello, Koki. Maybe he can explain how AFL is played for the fans of the show, for the denizens. So we're going to choose a colour for the steel. So we're going to, for the basic colour of the steel, we're going to use this Frozen Flesh. Gaelic football is done on a soccer field. AFL is done on the big pitch, wide pitch, circular, round, oval shaped. I'm having a good night. So we've chosen this colour for our steel. It is a mixture of Frozen Flesh and a little bit of that Chalice Red to get us a purpley base tone that's quite dark. Might add a bit of blue. There we go. Alright. I don't have a pile of shame. I have a pile of opportunity. You can actually see it behind me. That pile is all of the models that I own to be painted. Sort of feel like the difference, Flick, is that I'm actually going to do all of my pile of potential. Probably. I'm going to nail that. That's like 6 months worth of work for me, pal. We're just painting in all of these little areas that we're going to do in steel. Mate, Flick's unfortunately the easiest target because he's the nicest and he's the only one who I've really watched for more than 20 minutes or so. I try to get on and watch other streamers, but I'm very selfish in that way. I'd rather just paint. but I'm getting better at it. Opportunity. Pile of opportunity. Wow, this brush is alright. It's got a nice firm, springy texture, which I like. My concern is that the tip has already started to splay out a little bit, which I don't love, but it's alright. For a synthetic brush, feels okay. Helmet. Ha, that's what I should do. Okay, I'll do those in gold, I'll do that in gold, I'll do these in something later on. Those are done. That's done. Very good. Oh, these little things. Alright, my work phone's going off. I'm actually just going to have to check that friendo. Stand by. All is well. All is well. Wamposaurus. Here he is. Raw. Yep. He stands in it. Alright, so let's do some... That's from Games Workshop. It is called a Realm Gate. Baleful Realm Gate or something. Okay, so we're going to do some non-metallic metal. We're going to attempt to. So the colours we're going to use here to highlight a non-metallic metal are going to be yellow and purple. This is a similar colours to what we've used for the rocks. The first step is to sketch in the high value areas. So this is all going to be very quick and dirty, and we're just going to try and understand where all the lights are going to end up. So the second component of this is we're also going to think about the light from behind and how we're going to reflect that. So this is going to be here, like this, a little bit up here like this. But we're also going to have this. Some of these ones. Bit of this business. Alright, so this goes here. That's a good question, Flick. And what we're going to try and do as we do this non-metallic metal is explain why and how far I'm going. Because at the moment I'm not really sure. I tend to just do things by feeling, and my way of doing non-metallic metal is not the same as everyone's. Sort of got it was just I won't say a completely unique style, but I've got a way of doing things that not a lot of other painters do their non-metallic metals in. But yeah, we do need to be respectful of that light because it is going to be bouncing around a lot. But yeah, we're gonna work on it until we feel like it's respecting how bright that light source is, whilst at the same time having this guy still be the focal point. And that's the balancing act with any OSL, where you see a lot of people go wrong. They don't create a high enough value source, light source, or they have a super high value light source that overpowers the model. So we're sort of trying to skirt a line between what the real environment should look like, and then what the actual model will look coolest with. The reason I'm doing bounce lights at the moment, I'm just trying to do the high value stuff. Then we're going to go in and add the pink reflective light second. He says, hopefully. Filled with absolute confidence in the skills that he possesses. We're going to do some airbrushing on these bits too, friends, so. Just because I'm not confident, mate, doesn't mean I can't fucking give it a crack. Just like you should. Yeah, lightsabers are a tricky thing to paint in miniature form, I would imagine. I don't think I've ever done one. So one of the problems I see with a lot of non-metallic metal is they don't have enough value shift. Metal is the most reflective surface out there, obviously, and so you get a lot of value change from light to dark in a smaller space, in an abbreviated space than you normally would. So you've got to be able to increase your values in a small space. That's a good approach. Oops, I forgot these little bits. Yeah, I think that's a thing that is common. Well, I did a class with Craft World Studio last year or whatever, and their rule was basically just paint it wherever the fuck you want as long as it looks cool. And so I sort of try to prescribe to that now. I just paint it wherever the fuck I want as long as I think it's going to look cool. it's great advice. Like, the whole point of it is to have fun. And I think people get lost in trying to be good, forget about having fun. And when you have fun, you want to paint more, and painting more is actually what's going to help you to be good. Nothing else. Axe. Yeah, but... Oh, thanks, Valentino. Holly. What's going on, mate? A lot. Yeah, mate, you get in there. You get in there and have a go. So there's method to my madness, which I'll explain as we progress, and that is when I do the shading, we're going to have a lot of decreasing of the values. Everything's going to drop. So we want to make sure that we've got eye-punching levels of contrast at this point in time, so that when we do drop it back down, it still looks like we've got contrast. Yeah, there's a whole lot of rules you'll hear when you talk to miniature painters, and there's lots of different technical things you should consider and all sorts of stuff. But ultimately, the number one rule is the rule of cool. Just do whatever looks cool and whatever you think looks cool. And you won't go too far wrong. The thinning your paints thing is a bit of a myth. I don't really know how to answer that. I mean, if you have too many thick layers, yeah, you'll obscure your paints. But I think when you're starting out, like the reason the paint is thick is not because of the pigment; it's because of the binding agent and the stuff that's in there. So if you slap on a few coats of thick paint, you're not actually going to have a thick residue on there. You're just going to have pigments. Yes, Adama. Absolutely, mate. Apollo! Paint the fire however the fuck you want, mate. It's magical fire. Who gives a shit? have to work on my Kenny impersonation. I've got a pretty good Marco Frazzoni impersonation now. Hello guys, Marco here. Yeah, it's actually not that good, I suppose, but alright. Oh, 6 out of 10. That's fucking rough. Fuck you, Sharkwald. And the fucking horse you rode in on. Okay, let's do some pinky goodness. We might grab a bit of the old Chimera Magenta. Where did I put you, you fuck? Yeah, I fucking had you just here. Yeah, there you are. Oh, it's already out. Sorry. Apologies. Apologies for the profanity there, team. And this is going to be the start of our lighting. Start of our lighting experience. Sure do, mate. Sure do. Sure do plan on blending those together. We'll use a little bit of airbrushing. We'll use a little bit of glazing. And a variety of other super fancy techniques that are actually not that fancy. Yeah, I say this fucking hundreds of times, but you just gotta practice. Like, you just gotta understand what's gonna happen when you do certain things. And the only way you do that is by trying stuff. I mean, I'm sure that there would be people that would be cringing in horror seeing the way I'm approaching certain things. I use a fucking lot of contrast paints, for fuck's sake, but as long as you're achieving a result that you enjoy, and as long as you can replicate it, it's not just fluke, you're fine. Probably. That's it, Sharkwald. And I do think people will forget about that first point more than they should. Fun, 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 looking forward to the weekend. Yep, indeed we are punching up the bright So friends, I'm just making this shit up as I go along, right? So this may come out awful, and one thing you'll get to see live on stream, no doubt many times, is me fucking things up and trying again. I do that a lot. But I'm reasonably happy with how it's going so far. I'm most definitely not. So remember, high value, because we are going to bring it back down with some washes and some other fun activities, predominantly airbrushing. Speaking of, let's do a smidge now, shall we? Let's do a smidge of airbrushing. So the first thing I want to do is smooth out some of the transitions, and the way we're going to do that is by mixing a little bit of white, off-white, a little bit of this purple, so we want to keep that purpley tone. Ooh, that's probably a bit much purple, but that's okay. Maybe a little bit of this green. A little bit of this yellow. Alright. Cool. So, the cool thing about the airbrush is once you get quite practiced with it, and I'm actually intentionally speckling this because it creates a little bit of visual interest. Yeah, exactly right, mate. And I mean, you can't do this airbrushing, this type of airbrushing, without doing the painting I did underneath. Doesn't work. This is too dilute. Right. Now we're going to add some shadows. Now I'm actually going to use a little bit of contrast paint for this. probably. Let me think about that for a second. A little bit of contrast, a little bit of this blue. Oh, see ya, Kiwi. Thanks for coming on the stream, my man, baller man. You're a legend. So as you can see, I'm just bouncing around with colours and experimenting with things. The advantage of the airbrush and the method I use is you can do it back and forth pretty easily. It doesn't hurt you to go back in and do some brush after you've done the airbrush. You can back and forth. Whoops! Got a little bit of this one on the helm, on the helmy helm. All right. Now what we're going to do is tweak the pinks a bit, adding some pink to the pinks. What do you mean? It's beautiful. Living in Australia is fantastic. We get to see everything before everyone else. It's the best. Yeah, it's 9 p.m. on the, what is it, 15th of February for me. Quite nice indeed. Right, Badger! G'day, mate! G'day, Badger! Hey, Badger, Badger! We're just trying to figure out how to paint non-metallic metal with reflections from behind. And struggling. Struggling! Alright, now the crucial moment, the determining factor of whether it actually looks good. We're going to paint in some actual dark lines. And that should make a lot of these areas look a little bit more like metal. A little bit. Palm Cove. No, not familiar with it. What suburb is it in, mate? Palm Cove. What's it near? Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast? I've never been to that location, Celery. Does sound nice though. Cyclones aren't that much fun, I've been told. I'm using a little bit of two brush blending here. damp, not wet brush. Usually use a little bit of saliva for that, but there's no paint on it, so it's okay. You put your, it's actually just feathering, but you can use a second brush. So let's do a little bit of rough here. And then you can just smooth out the transition. The pink's not done yet, friends. The pink is most definitely not done on the metal, but we get a bit of a sense of what the model's going to look like now. So Flick, when you're trying to replicate this, mate, good luck. But also, because of the freedom of brush stroke early on, you almost don't have to be worried about making mistakes. It doesn't matter. Like you almost can't make a mistake because you're going to clean it up afterwards with your airbrushing and with your glazes and with other stuff. So don't be afraid to be bold with your colours and with your strokes, because it is all recoverable. The advantage of the way I choose to do things is that you can bounce back and forth and just make aggressive statements that you can immediately renege when you are changing your mind about things. It's all easy. Yep. Oh, I do it in real life as well, but I don't recommend that unless you can back it up. Big Dano backs it up by running the fuck away. G'day Voodoo. Welcome to the stream. Bravely ran away, away. When danger is its ugly head, he bravely turned his tail and fled. Brave, 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 brave Sir Robin. Alright, the next important thing you need to do when you're doing your non-metallic metals, after you've done your shadows, like I've just demonstrated here, is go back in and fucking add those lights, baby. Let's add those lights. In a moment, when I finish the helmet. So this next stage should convincingly sell the illusion. should. Let's find out. So we're going to continue to add shadows back and forth with the non-metallic metal. We do want there to be a line of light, and then a line of dark, and then a line of pink, separating the two light sources. That's one of the keys of creating convincing lighting effects, is making sure that you've got your shadows in the right places. Cool. So the next stage to make the non-metallic metal look correct, you need to do your highlights. So these are very, very intense lights. This is using the same whites that I used before, but because I've glazed all of that colour down, it's not quite as bright. We're going to have a noticeable change. I'm going to hit these on the edges. Oh, metal! Looks okay. I like it. I'll tell you what'll actually make it look better is when I paint this stuff in a darker colour. You're losing the colour a little bit here. So let me maybe do that, and we'll get a better sense of it. Alright. So this colour is going to be just brown, so we'll just do that in some brown shit. Haven't done the gold elements yet. We will do some of those. Yeah, we might do some of them now. Yep, dark gold, that's the plan. We're going to do that bit right now, I think. Or at least block it in. Where are you, my pretty? Hello. There you are. Yeah, there's a belt buckle and there's also some little strippy plate things down the bottom, so you can see this little bit down here doesn't look as good as this bit here. I've gone too harsh a transition, so we're actually just going to tweak that a bit. Just mixing some colours. We'll do some more airbrush glazes and bounce around and have fun with colours and maybe paint some happy little trees. Sorry, Wimp. Yeah, the hair dryers is part and parcel of this stream, I'm afraid. It's an essential component of being able to continue cracking on. When you're doing these lights, this is when you start thinking about your texture of your strokes. This metal, as you've probably seen in real life, can have those sort of little striations, polished metal. So if you want to have that kind of feeling, you do that at this juncture. Yeah, well, you can do, like, I'm going to add probably some rusty bits, some streaks and grime and stuff. But yeah, that looks pretty fucking cool on the screen, eh? Fuck yeah, Dano's the fucking man. Just got to get the skin tone looking good now. It'll be sweet. Sorry, mate. I will do the gold. I just got to wait for this little bit of red shit to dry. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I'll remember that celery. I'll remember that awesome guy. It's starting to look like metal. No, it's not pure white. It's off-white from this one, Vallejo. But I've also mixed, there's a lot of like little bibs and bobs of colour. Got a bit of green in there, a bit of yellow in there, depending on the area I'm painting. How are you feeling at this stage, Flick? Confident? We're coming from a land down under. Women blow, men plunder. Can't you hear the thunder? You better run, you better take cover. Yeah. I used to like that song when I was younger. Classic. Confidence levels. Savage card it. Day after day it reappears. I do a magnificent Barnsey actually, but we'll save that for another night. Alright, I reckon we can probably, we can do a little bit of gold now. Just brush that shit out. Alright, let's do some gold. Boy, that looks like metal now, doesn't it? Don't you reckon? Bit of metal. Sort of. I think it does. Fuck yous all. I'm the one whose opinion matters anyway. So, gold is different to steel in that it rarely reflects as much intense colour as the rest of the environment would on a metal. So you want to do less reflective colours and more and more yellowy colours. We're still going to try and get some pink in there, but it's not going to be anywhere near as aggressive. Alright, so we're going to start with this colour, which is yellow or golden oak. Hang on, it's an ochre. It's like an ochre brown. There you go, from Vallejo, ochre brown. And again, we're going to be respectful of where the light source is. So the light's sort of coming from the top left slightly. So we're going to have light being here, where this paint hasn't quite dried. And again, some more light here. And then we're going to catch the bottom side of this with more light. How dare you? That cut is going to revolutionise Justice League, mate. Someone told me it's gonna blow Marvel out of the water. Give the fans what they want. Need to see more Aquaman flying through the air. Say, my man. Yeah, they just missed the mark, didn't they, DC? Like, and they had such a good basis to start from with Christian Bale's Batman. Like, it was so good. And I feel like they just tried to rush it. Just tried to rush to get out there to beat Marvel at their own game. I don't know. It's just a wasted opportunity for mine. The DC characters, though, have never been as interesting as the Marvel characters. I mean, Superman is literally the most boring superhero by a huge margin. In my not so humble opinion, he just straight up sucks. Oh, I forgot I wanted to do this bit. The character is just there's no. I mean, I don't go to superhero. Maybe this is a false statement. I don't go to superhero movies to be compelled by their backstory. I want to see them do cool shit. And as I say that, I realise that's not the case. But I can't invest in Superman. I never feel like he's going to be interesting. Like, Henry Cavill's version of Superman is my favourite Superman that's been on screen thus far. So, it's definitely not that. Yes, Flickster has nailed it on the head there. We are going to include some pink tones on this soon, friends. Who was that friendo who was asking if it was going to get smoothed out? Can't remember. I think it was a new visitor. Is this smoothed out enough for you, friendo, or is it still too rough and sketchy, in your opinion? I am truly interested to know. That was not a dickhead comment. The only logical reason why they jumped to do Justice League is because they wanted to capitalise on the excitement that Avengers got. I can't see any other reason why they would have jumped into it. They just didn't have enough grounding on the other characters, and then they rushed it anyway. Oh well. I mean, I still went and watched all of them at the cinemas. Indeed. We're probably going to do some airbrushing. Yeah, let's do some airbrushing. Why not? Why not? And we'll airbrush in a little bit of yellow. We'll use a contrast paint, Nasdreg yellow for the gold. But we are going to add a smidge of normal colour. So let's just try and mix this in here. So this is the yellow. Now I think we'll just get a little bit of this yellow ochre, just a tiny bit. So this is going to do two things. It's going to filter the colour, and it should smooth out the blends. The PSI on that is 15-ish. Super low PSI, super high skill set, like fucking boss. It's time to add some pink. Time to add some pink. Thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on the stream. You're a champion. See you, Wump. Wumpa, wumpa, wumpa. we're going to do an airbrush now of a AK Interactive Ultra Matte. What I want to do is get all of those colours that are currently a little bit varying in reflectiveness. We've got some contrast paints, we've got some scale fantasy that are a little bit more satin. See ya! I already said goodbye to one button. Got to let that dry first. See you, Celery. Thanks, buddy. How many bottles of what? 3. Vital stuff in the cog of the Deno wheel. Aha! I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Cotton Eye Joe. Someone remind me to change that shit later on, please. Thanks, Joe Carney, baby. Great stuff. Frosty Worldwide, I'm sorry that you had to see that. I'm wearing my nice peach shirt, trying to add a level of class to tonight's proceedings, and instead, you get that rubbish. Okay, we're going to do an important step now. As I've talked about on the stream before, I'm going to grab this bad boy and see how we're looking as a cohesive whole. Blue tack, baby, blue tack. Okay. So, we got some issues with the overall values at the moment. So the base is maybe a little bit too high value, particularly on these rock bits. It's maybe looking a little bit too similar to the metal. So we may need to bring the rocks down a little bit more to this sort of colour. Smidge maybe just add a bit more darkness. Some colours. I believe in a thing called love. Bit of the darkness. Then the skin tone needs to be brighter. And I think we also will see more of this working when I've got the same level of intensity pink on the reflected light, which we don't have at the moment. You can see here the base, how I need to continue to bring that down a little bit because this is looking too similar to the metal areas. We're going okay, I think, so far. I really need to add this level of magenta into the metal. That'll help tie it in, because at the moment it doesn't look quite as intense on the metal reflections or on the skin tone reflections, and it will need to sell the convincing illusion. Alright, that's good. Progress anyway. 2 streams in. Going alright. You would need to be a much better painter than me, I think, to be able to pull that off. I want this guy to be the focus. I get what you're saying though, Sharkwald. That'd be quite cool. I'll consider that. I'll consider it. That's sort of a Colwell move, he'd do that. It's not really my jam. Probably good people, good painters, would make these decisions before they paint the model. Big Genos doesn't roll that way, mate. I'm all about that experience. We just see what the model tells us to do as we're painting it. And at the moment, this guy's pretty happy with how he's going. But we'll see. The daylight lighting is front of the figure so bright. Yeah, so that's one accurate observation there, and in reality you don't get that sort of reflectiveness from a light if there is bright daylight. However, this is fucking magic, bro. Look at that fucking magic portal. Get in there with some fucking magic light, bro. Because if you look at neon lights do still cast some light even in bright daylight. So you can get away with it by using the excuse of magic, which I shall. And just so you know, friends, you can do absolutely everything that I've done with an airbrush with a brush, as I'm about to demonstrate on these little things. It's all eminently possible. Warmonger, my last name is Dennison, Trent Dennison, the big man. So it stands for my last name, Dennison. Thank you, Warmonger66. Thanks for coming and hanging out on the stream. Watch me try to paint this fucking dude. Thank you. Everyone's... Oh. Oh, my mum's not going to be happy. I ruined my shirt that I got for my birthday. Whoops. Stand by, friends. I'm going to zoom out so you can see the gloriousness. Oh, she's not going to be happy, Wal. Come on, Wal. I didn't mean it. It's okay. It's like a $10 shirt. Whoops. It's not the first time I've done this with contrast paints either. I fucking lost all of my warp lightning the other day. All of it. Had to buy a new pot. Wal's going to be so upset, my mum. Oh no. Oh, I'm just going to go wash my hands, friends. Be back in a sec. Alright friends, we're fine. We're back. We're back painting. It's all good. Yeah, I think it's too late, Warmonger. I think the shirt's done. What a shame. Did like this peach number. Oh well. Wear it around the house. What am I talking about? I never go outside the house anyway. Alright, that was fun. Just going to check this lid's... Yep, we're good. Okay. Outstanding. Outstanding. Easy as you like. Very good. Oh, my brush feels sticky. Oh, I'm uncomfortable. Alright, so there's two things that I've done here that I reflect on, aside from this whole bucking thing, is we've now got a little bit of yellow that we need to add to this bad boy. So we're just going to add a little couple of hints of yellow in the steel. Maybe some up here. Touch there. Excellent. Would have been fine, mate. It's all okay. The other week I fucked up with my keep my pinter clean here just for these occasions. Yeah, I fuck stuff up all the time. I did it. I'm sure everyone's done this before, but I went to do the old varnish and chuck a little bit of the surface primer in there instead. Did a nice old varnish in white. Went well. We just roll with it. Oh, tie-dye Thursday, Tuesday. I like that. I like that, friends. Let's do tie-dye night. Alright, well, that was a fun little diversion, but overall, we did a pretty good job tonight, I think, getting this guy to this stage. I'm a bit nervous actually about this light from behind, so I think I'm going to do some light from behind right now and just see if we can sell it. I'm nervous. Let's try on the helmet. Maybe a little bit on this bit. And this little smidge here too, why not, since we're doing it. We're gonna make this this leather look more like leather. So one trick is that not every surface reflects light in the same way. Metal's obviously one that reflects a lot, so that's why you get these very bright things. But things like leathers and furs are not as reflective, and so don't get you the same sort of light effects. So we're going to do the pink first, and then we're going to do a contrast paint over the top to tone it down. Theoretically. This is all conceptual for me at the moment. It's okay. See, and I'm getting a little bit of tip drying happening. Well, this is the first time I tried it actually. I pulled it out at the start of the stream. It's okay. I don't hate it. It's probably not a glowing endorsement, but it's okay. Alright. Moment of truth. I think this will work, hey friends? So that's the angle we'll be looking at it mostly. That feels pretty cool. We'll keep tweaking it, obviously. So we want to probably see a little bit more of the light from this side than what I've got going on at the moment. We will do a little bit of the blue, yeah, for sure. The blue's probably a smidge off yet. Got to get the pink first. The blue's easier to do. The magenta's the harder of the two colours to do well, I think. We've still contrast paint, mate. The cape's, no one's going to look at the cape. You've got to remember the angle of the model. Fuck all, people will be looking at the cape. Easy. Yeah. Get in there, son. Bit of contrast. Fucking Bob's your uncle. Yes, Gavin's often criticised the lack of models, rears painted on my models. Still doesn't stop the guy asking for fucking advice every 5 minutes, does it? Fucking mug. Nah, I'm just joshing. He's alright. I mean, most of my models just get bought and put on display, one would assume. So I don't paint a lot of non-display models, so that makes for far less importance on the backs. Hey, what are we putting Flick's odds at the moment of being able to do this? Has anyone started a syndicate yet? Yeah, if you have a look at like a lot of good painters' works, they won't do as much effort on the back as they do on the front, unless it's specifically for a box art. Box art, so you want to be able to showcase the model from all its angles. I haven't painted a lot of non-metallic metal on smaller scales. I imagine I would approach it very similarly. Yeah, it's not something I've done that much. I'm just trying to think how much smaller scale stuff I've done non-metallic metals. I can't actually think of anything that I've done in non-metallic metal 32mm scale. But I would approach it exactly the same way. Because that's how I approach pretty much everything. I follow the same process with everything. I start with a sketch, and then I do glazes and shading to refine the sketch down into something that looks smooth and pleasant. Oh yeah. Yeah, when you look at confrontation minis now, they're chalk and cheese with what some of the great non-metallic metal painters of today are doing. Kirill Knave is just doing incredible stuff. Mark Masclans. I have you now. Yeah, the miniature painting has evolved so much just in that 10-year period. I mean, some of the stuff that the best artists are cranking out now, it is genuinely art. Like it is. Kirill painted a Joan of Arc bust that had non-metallic metal with reflections of a banner that Joan of Arc was holding. I'm going to bring it up on screen in a minute once I finish doing this magenta, just to showcase quite how ridiculous Kirill is, and quite how far away it is from what was happening in the Rackham era. Yeah, obscene. I will caveat that and say that I was also blown away by the Rackham stuff at the time. It was amazing. We've just continued to see people improve. Continue to see people to push the boundaries of what's doable. I wish it was trick photography, mate. It'd make me feel better about myself. No, it's just Kirill. But I bet you Kirill couldn't do this in 3 hours. Well, he's a full-time miniature painter, so... But I would think, based on the number of models I see him paint and release for box arts, he's probably cracking out 2 a month, so once a fortnight, releasing a model. So that's 50, 60 hours of painting, you'd imagine, on a model. That's just an estimate though, because I don't know. Double dabs. The portal did indeed end up being pink, mate, and we're going to put this guy on the portal in a second and see how we've finished the night up. Being able to paint full time would be fun. But I'm sure that it would become work. Alright, we're going to need to keep doing some glazes of that to get the magenta quite as vibrant as we need it to be. Akihiko Takano, hello! All right, let's scope out little mate on his base. See how he went. G'day, mate. How are you? Now we're cooking, hey? Arones! Hello, thank you for following. Yeah. And it also feels like he's coming forward a bit more too because of that. I'll need to have a bit more separation though. I think there'll need to be a few bits and pieces. But yeah, I'm enjoying how it's looking so far. Yeah, I think we'll call that a night there, friends. Good session, good paint. Thank you to all the new followers and all the new friends. And yeah, we'll keep chipping on with this guy on Wednesday night stream. G'day, Ryan Aksek. So there's a few. What we need to do is bring the value of the skin tone up, and that will help bring the eye line more towards this area, because this will be, thanks buddy, this will be more saturated than any other part of this. This is all very cold, very desaturated colours, and I upload everything to my YouTube, friends. So every stream I've ever done is in my YouTube channel. So once we increase the value of the skin tone a bit and keep pumping contrast in this area, so we've got a clear focal point, we'll probably give him red eyes, maybe something like that, and then we'll do some tattoos and stuff, maybe see how we're traveling. But yeah, that's looking pretty cool, I reckon. All right, come on, friends. Let's commence. We shall commence a raid. Raid. What motherfucker are we gonna raid tonight, friends? Let's go have a bo peep. Who's on? Who is on? Still a Rebels on, we've done her before. Roll 1, we've done her. Thanks Poe, thanks Sharky, thanks Awesome Guy, thanks Flickster. What's the Honest Wargamer doing? What are they doing? No, they're just doing some shit about AOS. Nah, not interested. Phoenix. He's doing the tree, man. Let's do Phoenix. Love that guy. Thanks, Jan. Phoenix is my new hero. Thanks, friends. You're all awesome.